Hello and welcome back to part 3 of this mini-series within a mini-series. The whole mini-series was supposed to be Behind the Hunt, the making of the Predator pinball game. And now I've created a mini within a mini. So this one's the action mode, part 3. So what I've done, as you can see in the previous 2 videos, I've created an action mode, which is the brand new feature in pinball. As far as I'm aware, I haven't played every single pinball game in the whole wide world, both real and virtual, but as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen an action mode like this, where you can actually control a toy with the flippers and fire missiles. Now, it's hilarious, actually, when you think about it, because the video mode was first created for Terminator, I believe, and Arnold Schwarzenegger famously said, "Video mode." So I thought, well, okay, so for this one, the very first action mode, we should once again hire Arnold Schwarzenegger to say action mode. Now, who in the world can't do an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression? I mean, everybody can. So you don't even need AI to do it. You can just do it yourself. So I've done the voices, the necessary voices to fill in the gaps for action mode. So first of all, before I go any further, I just want to tell you what my influences are for creating these pinball games. I am heavily influenced by, first of all, movie directors, massive movie directors, mainly Spielberg, but then Ridley Scott, James Cameron, and also theme park rides. In particular, the subway ride at Universal Studios, where there's that truck coming down and there's an explosion and there's water and all this stuff. And then the whole thing just resets and everything goes back to normal. I was like, wow, that's incredible. So that's my main influence for creating pinball games. So that gives you an idea of where I get these ideas from. This action mode is a direct result of that influence. You've just got to really create something that only lasts a few minutes but has the maximum amount of fun. And just like a video mode, you've got to be in and out. But with an action mode, I've got to reset everything. So when it's done, the helicopter has to reset, has to go back to its starting position. So the whole thing happens and then resets all within a few seconds. So just like that incredible ride at Universal Studios where that big tanker truck comes down the hill and explodes and there's water and fire, that is what influences all of my modes in my games, mostly. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is, you can see on the left here, this is the script, the whole script for the action mode, which I call start action mode. So it starts here at 3733 and it ends at 3935. So it's 200 lines of code. That's all it is, just 200 lines of code that created the action mode that you saw in the previous video. And I'll show you the latest version because I've updated it now to version 1.02. I've added a few more enhancements. But I'll just go over what the action mode is. So I've written my little notes here in green. So action mode, fire support. So fire support is called in to take care of those pesky guerrilla fighters, who are these 4 drop targets here. You control the chopper with the flippers and shoot missiles with the action button to destroy the targets as they pop up. The enemy will fire their puny AK-47s at you, reducing your action value. But watch out for the heat seekers. They are fired at random intervals and can take you down. When a heat seeker is launched, you have 5 seconds to kill an enemy to stop it. Destroy 6 enemy targets to win the action award. My God, I should be a voiceover artist, shouldn't I? So there's 2 values here. The action value, which is the amount that you get every time you take down one of the targets, and the action award, which is the total value when you complete the mission successfully. Now, when the enemy are firing their machine guns, and you'll hear the sound of the machine gun, every time you hear that sound of a machine gun, 250 points are taken away from the action value. So the quicker you take them down, the better. So what I'll do is I'll show you the latest revision of the action mode, version 1.2. And then when I've shown it to you, join me back here in my cozy little office, and I'll explain how I did it.
Action mode. with a heat seeker. It's pretty sophisticated for a bunch of half-ass mountain boys.
Okay, and welcome back to my cozy little office. Okay, so that was pretty exciting, wasn't it? Even the haters, the people that absolutely hate video game pinball, have to admit that's pretty cool. So if you watched my previous video where I showed you how I made a minigun and how I animated it, the same principle really. So what I'll do is I'll just show you where the helicopter is, wherever it is. So you have to use a helicopter toy, obviously. You can't do it without a toy. So this helicopter toy has been in my library for years. I don't know where I got it. I can't remember now. Now it has independent elements, which is a rotor blade on the tail. That's an independent element, which can be controlled independently. And an independent element, which is the rotor. But the rest of it is just the body of the actual helicopter, which is textured. So I had to redo the texture as well to make it look like an army helicopter. Okay, so these individual elements can be controlled to move independently. So I can move the whole unit, and then I can move these within the unit. So that's why the rotors are spinning as fast as they spin. And they're rotating at 2,000 RPM. So what we do is we use the capture box, and we capture a little box around it. I won't show you in the actual game itself, I'll just show you here. So what you do is you just put a capture box around it like that. So once you have it in the capture box, then you can pretty much do whatever you want with it. So you can put it on the playfield where you want it. So I put it here, right here, just by the side of the ramp, facing down towards the player. And every time the ramp is shot, there's a little trigger here that sets the rotors off. So the rotors will go off and you hear the sound effect. Now, at other times, I'll have the helicopter rise up and twist or turn a little bit, again with its rotors going. That's normally at the beginning of Get to the Chopper. And then I can have another animation where it rises up and then twists sideways to release the ball from inside. So that ball will come out of the chopper onto the rail and come back into play, and that's used for the ball saver. So I've got various things that I can do with this chopper. So that's how I can put it here and have it doing all kinds of wonderful things here. So if I want to use it to do the action mode, I just, as you can see here, the script, so it says start action mode. So this is the chopper capture box. It's called Mini Playfield 0. It's the box that's surrounding this helicopter. So it's called Mini Playfield 0. So it moved to. So where does it move to? Well, it moves to wherever I tell it to. So I moved it here between the flippers, right here. I'm using this indicator, which is move HL, which is on the X-axis, which basically sets it dead center. So it's dead center here. So the chopper will only ever move left and right. It won't go on the Y-axis. The Y-axis is up and down. It will only move on the X-axis. So this is the X-axis. Y is unchanged. Height is unchanged, which is the Z-axis. Elevation, spin, all these different things are unchanged. So the twisty, the angle, the twisty angle, so it goes from that angle, which is pointing in this direction, to pointing up. So that's what that value is there. It makes sure that the helicopter is pointing up between the flippers. And this is the time it takes me to move it from this position to this position is 2.5 seconds. So that's what it's doing. It's coming to this position to start this mode. And then I add a light sequence, the music of Ride of the Valkyries. We have my voice saying action mode, my impersonation of Schwarzenegger anyway. And then, of course, we play a continuous loop of the helicopter blades rotating around, which I think I got from the film itself. So it's like a continuous loop. When you see this value true, it means it's going to play continuously. And these are the speed of the rotors, so 2,000 RPM for the main rotor, and the tail rotor, 2,000 RPM. So this sets this up, and then we have a timer as well. So the whole mode is timed at 50 seconds. So, and when it times out, then it does all that. But I'll come back to that later. And I've set a no action value as well. So while it's moving from here to here, this no action timer stops the player from inputting any commands. So it won't respond to any commands until it's in location. So if you hit the left and right flipper buttons or the action button, it won't do anything because of this timer. This timer protects it from input commands until it's ready. So once it's finally rested in this position, now you're free to use the left flipper to move it left, the right flipper to move it right, and you can fire missiles by pressing the action button. Okay, so these are the input that the player has So it's very primitive inputs, really. You can only use the left flip to move left, right flipper to move right. So this is the input for the left flipper key. So when you're in action mode, which we are, and no action enabled equals false, so the no action timer has expired, so now you are free to use the command. So we have this value, which I've already shown you. So this is the X value. This is the X value, so the chopper moving left or right on the X axis. So when it's moving left, it's obviously moving -10. So -10, -10, -10, -10. Every single time you press the left flipper button, the chopper is moving -10, -10, -10, -10. And then to the right flipper key does the opposite. It moves it +10. So +10, +10, +10. And again, the value is here, moving the chopper, and everything else stays the same. So that's how you input the left commands and the right commands to make the chopper move left and right. Now I'll show you the action button and what happens when you press the action button. So there's the model of the action button. So that'll be blinking like crazy. So when you press that, this is what happens. Action fire. So it detects whether or not the tango target is up or down. So each tango, I call them tangos as in terrorist. So tango 1 is obviously this one here, tango 2, tango 3, tango 4. Now when it's up, it's set a value of true. And when it's down, it has a value of false. So this command says, so the move HL, obviously we've seen that as the X value. So when the chopper is in the correct alignment of the target, so it's in the perfect alignment. So here it is in perfect alignment to target 1, tango 1. Now if tango 1 is up, which is this value true, then I know that I can fire on tango 1. So when I press the action button to fire the missile, I know it's going to hit that value. So I have the fire speed slightly shorter because it's going a short distance. The missile is only going a short distance, and this is the missile, by the way. This is another little toy which I've captured in a little box, made it much, much smaller. I've also put a little light in there, a little flasher, so it creates like a trace of fire, so you can see the light going all the way up the playfield. So this thing is hidden underneath the chopper, and as soon as you fire, it fires from out underneath the chopper, and it will either go all the way to the back wall if you miss, or it will hit the target. If it's fired short, it has to travel faster, which is what this speed is. Normal speed is 0.7. Because it's traveling at a shorter distance, I have to speed it up to 0.3. So these are values that are attributed to the capture, here the actual helicopter thing. So this is the missile. Mini Playfield 5 is the missile. So I've put the coordinates in. So it's programmed with the coordinates, programmed with the X, programmed with the Y. Y is the tango. The tango is here on the Y, so it's slightly elevated. It's up here rather than up here. So this is the Y position of the tango. Everything else stays the same, and then the fire speed determines the speed of the missile as it comes out of the helicopter. Now, if the tango was down when I fired, the missile would just go over the target and impact on the back wall, and it would say no target. But if the target is up when I fire the missile, it will say enemy locked, missile away, and then you'll get the explosion. The explosion is just a hologram of an explosion. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, all in position, ready to go. Slightly smaller than this one here. This is the main chopper explosion, and this is also used on the back wall to show impacts from the missile in the back wall. So these are little holograms playing a 50-frame animation of an explosion. Now this one again is captured, and I can move it anywhere I want using those coordinates, the same coordinates. So this knows exactly where the missile is on the playfield in the X and Y coordinates. So wherever the missile impacts, this is programmed to go exactly where the impact is by using the capture box, you see. So I fired the action button, the missile is away. It will either hit the target, so this is all the DMD stuff, and there's also stuff on the LCD, or you'll miss the target. My cat's meowing, ignore my cat. You get a tango down. So tango down, here we are, tango down equals tango down +1, so we get a little explosion and all that stuff. If you get 6 tangos, the mission is over. Now the fun thing is when the targets themselves, the tangos, show some kind of intelligence, because you don't want to just shoot dumb enemies, you want the enemies to fight back. So they will fire their AK-47s at you, which takes small points, but they will also fire heat-seeking missiles at you. And that happens here with action enemy. Randomly, as you can see here, randomly one of the targets will pop up. One of these 4 targets will pop up randomly. Tango 1, Tango 2, Tango 3, and Tango 4. Now, randomly again, 1 of 4, I might increase that to 1 in 5 because it's too frequent. They will fire a heat seeker, so a heat seeker missile. The player will be alerted on the screen. There'll be a red flash saying missile alert. And a timer will start, which is this timer here, HS timer. So you've got 5 seconds to take action. And the action you have to take is you have to take down any enemy that's up. You have to shoot it to stop this timer and stop the heat-seeking missile. When the heat-seeking missile timer expires and you haven't hit an enemy, where you see the helicopter will be hit, it will go into a tailspin and it will crash down. And that will be the end of the mode, and you won't get the action award bonus, whatever it is. And it says here, bad luck, they got you. And then you will hear Schwarzenegger say something like, what is it, heat seekers? This is actually from the film, this isn't me. He says they have heat seekers, and you'll see his graphic come up. There's a short delay, and then I reset the whole thing. So this is what I'm talking about with the theme park rides. Now the chopper will lift off the playfield, its rotators will continue to spin, and it will go back to its reset position. And that happens in just 2.5 seconds, it resets. So it says here, chopper resetting. So that's pretty much all it is. You've got about 50 seconds. So all that happens in just 50 seconds. You've got 50 seconds to take out 6 tangos, or you will be taken out with a heat-seeking missile, because when the timer expires, you're also taken out with a heat-seeking missile. So you have to complete the mission successfully to get those big points. So that's it. So just 200 lines of code is how I created that mode. It's very, very exciting. It's a lot of fun, but it's really hard to start because it started here in this saucer. These saucers, there's 3 of them. There's a saucer there, and a saucer there. These all start different missions. This one starts 3 missions. This one starts 3 missions. This one starts 2 missions. Now, to start this mode, you have to first of all knock down this target, which in itself is on a timer. So if you don't hit the saucer within 30 seconds, this target comes back up again and blocks it. So you've got to hit this target, then hit the saucer within 30 seconds, and you've got to do that 3 times. And then randomly, one of 3 modes will start, and one of them is the action mode. So it's very, very difficult to start. It doesn't come up very frequent. But when it does, I mean, I guarantee you really, really enjoy this. And it is just like a video mode. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's in there quick, maximum fun, maximum enjoyment, and then you're out. The thing resets, and you just continue with your ball as it shoots back out again. So as soon as the helicopter resets back into position on the ramp, the ball is just ejected back out of the saucer, and normal play resumes. And so I think that's it. Okay, that is the end of this mini-series. It feels like a mini-series. So what I'm going to do, in the next video, I will do a gameplay commentary where I'll start bro mode. So I'll play, it'll be a 3-ball game, but in bro mode. So it'll be 6 balls. And I'll just talk through the game, which I hope you'll find entertaining. And then I'll release the game. When I get those 10,000 subscribers, of course.
You son of a bitch.